Hi, minimization has come up a lot this week and I want to talk about it. So I have this theory that the people who have been through the maximum are the most likely to minimize. So I'm talking to my own healer, and it's come up a lot with my clients this week, and all of a sudden I realized the words are coming out of my mouth, like about when I was 23 years old. I was working full time. I was going to school full time. I had founded an environmental charter school. I had 2 kids that I was raising on my own, and pretty much a lot of darts in my back to bet against me. And by the time I was 25 years old, I bought a house without telling a soul. And I want you to hear, I don't know if you've ever been 25 and had 2 kids, but I literally knew if I told anybody that I was going to be leaving, or even doing anything with sovereignty, that I would be sabotaged in some way. So I had to encapsulate for months of house searching this secret that I was going to be leaving the place that I was, which when I was 23 at the time, I had moved back in with my parents and left my kid's dad. And I'm listening to myself talk and remembering what it was like to be that much of a cavity. You're always trying to protect other people from that place. I was so enmeshed with the fabric of just existence that I didn't necessarily have my own sense of where my plot on the grid of existence even is. And the fluidity of that time was burnout, neurodivergent burnout, normal people burnout. And I just found myself being on the other side of this at the age of 41 and realizing how much I minimized, because people could look at me and go, wow, that was a lot, right? And the crazy thing about having a good life now and this family that loves is that this is what's not normal to me. All of that was normal to me. It was normal to me to have my exes be enabled by my family while they made sure that I did everything and made sure that my kids were taken care of by me 100% of the time, while they were supporting, enabling other people to not take responsibility also, or to just be in the soup of being a 23-year-old with 2 children, let alone having a full-time job, working with a bunch of children, and going to school full-time to learn how more you can accommodate working with children and adults in the future, right? I was going to grad school at the time. So this is not even close to, oh my God, I can minimize abuse and things like that, right? This is self-minimization, right? This is, oh my God, dude, I can look back and go and unequivocally say, with every client I've ever worked with, truly, it is the people who have been forced to the maximum that minimize the most. So I want you to think about this next time you're now I share my experience. Now I'm not silent. Now I talk about it. But if you have somebody who's perpetually maximizing this experience, they've never reached their max, probably. Because the people who've reached their max are much more likely to be prone to minimize what is actually at their max. So, and I'm not trying to share war stories here, oh my God, the abuse, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. That's in the background of all of that. The war story is that when I was 23 years old, I had already founded a school, had 2 children, was working full-time and going to college full-time. And then within 2 years, I saved up enough money to buy a house and didn't have one person. And I want you to think about this. In a normal family system, if your kid gets a space and moves out and you go, congratulations, I'm so proud of you, how can I help you, right? But it was normal to me to know that I could not say anything, because if I did, I would be sabotaged. So being on the other side of that, I go, oh my God, it's not even about minimization so much as normalization. Because even somebody said, well, how did you feel when your ex at the time was living with your sister while you were living with your parents? And he didn't really, well, how did I feel? I felt like it was normal. I never thought to protest that I wasn't being considered ever once, right? That was just normal. And now I'm on the other side of that going, oh my God, if my kids went through what I went through, I would be supporting and defending them at all costs to make sure that they had somebody to do that thing, right? Nobody was coming for me when I was 23 or 25 or 41, right? Nobody was coming for me. And it's not like, you know, these people are like, oh my God, my parents don't help me at all, but they gave me $100,000 for help. No, that wasn't a thing. Like there's no contribution to me. There's no home warming. There was no congratulations. What did you do? Right? So I just want you to remember that it's very likely, and I'm not trying to conjure up and pull up things to work through, but it's probably pretty likely that if you have been I gotta get out of this place, I've been abused, I am like doing everything to people please, you very likely minimize a lot. And that's probably because you were so maxed out that you just had to make it unreal what actually you went through, right? Because I look back at that, I'm like, oh my God, that's literally unreal. Like I wasn't even in there. I wasn't allowed to be in here when I was 23. I wasn't allowed to like be myself then. Like I was totally absent while I was doing it. I wouldn't have been able to do all of the things that I did if I was in here. And that's a weird thought. But the energy it took to get back in here, I minimize. The energy it took to leave here so I could people please and I could do the right thing, I minimize. There's a lot of effort there. So there you go. It's probably most likely that if people have actually reached their max, they will be much more likely to minimize than people who max out at like, oh, this isn't fair that I didn't get what I wanted for a day, right? Like they will probably feel justified to maximize that. When you, my love, are probably somebody who feels the necessity to go, oh, that's just something that happened. Like I have clients who tell me about their abuse and laugh it off, right? Oh, that's just and I totally get it. They're minimizing. And that's probably because they've reached their max. They've actually reached their max. So tell me what you think about this. I'm curious. Bye.